Welcome to the first edition of the LL Basketball Roundtable for 2025, brought to you by Student Transportation of America. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yep.
I think it's Thursday. Brian,
We're taping on a Thursday.
Yes,
we are.
Really disoriented right now, but that doesn't matter because these two guys, Jason Guarente to my left, Jeffrey Reinhardt to my right, are going to carry me, not for the first time, as we delve into LL hoops, kind of coming off holiday tournaments and such, and some interesting results there. Jason, we're going to you.
I was told by one of our thousands of viewers that I needed to talk about the Penn Manor Warwick game for 2 minutes.
Do it. 2 minutes.
I don't know if I can talk about anything for 2 minutes.
We're on the clock.
Give it a shot. Penn Manor goes into Warwick for Warwick's holiday tournament and beats the Warriors in overtime, 82-76. I think people thought Warwick might be the best team in the league, Cedar Crest, Township. There's a lot of contenders, Manheim Central, LS for that title. It was a bit of a surprising result because Penn Manor, of course, it's the year after Ethan Benny. Yeah. And you assume that they can't possibly be as good because you took the 6'5" All-State kid off their roster, but they are just as good record-wise.
There you go. I am really surprised at this. I can't even imagine. I haven't seen them, and I can't imagine how this is happening.
Well, they have Michael Lauer, who's a near 20-point per game scorer, and he'll get to 1,000, if not tonight. This is Thursday, in the rest of this week. And they just have this collection of super fast guards, and they have so many of them, and they could play 12 players in a game without really losing much. And they're hard to defend. Like you watch the Warwick game and you think, well, Your Majesty Washington and Caleb Johnson, they're 6'4" and 6'3". How are these small guys going to stop them? Well, they didn't stop them, but they did outscore them because Warwick couldn't defend Penn Manor.
Wow.
And they just spread the floor, they beat you off the dribble, and then they can either finish at the rim or pass for a layup or make a three-pointer, and it's a really interesting and unusual team.
Somebody told me that it's a lot like some of the good McCaskey teams of the past.
Yeah.
They're like that. Depth, they attack, they're really quick.
There were a whole bunch of great JV players who didn't play on the Benny team, who were sophomores.
Okay, all right.
Maybe they weren't big. They're still kind of small, so maybe they just weren't big enough last year, who have now stepped up to juniors, who are now on the varsity, and they were great JV players, and it's working at the varsity level too.
That was Warwick's first loss, yes?
Warwick's second loss.
Second loss.
Yeah, they lost earlier. Yeah, so they have 2. Penn Manor has 1 loss to Exeter. Penn Manor also beat Manheim Township, which is the other Section 1 contender. That was a 1-point game where they rallied in the final minute, so that was like a toss-up game. So right now, Penn Manor is in first place in Section 1.
How about that? Was that 2 minutes? I think you hit 2 minutes.
I think so. I lost track. I just started babbling.
Good intro, Jace.
All right, Ryan, some teams
Girls
took
side?
their first loss of the year on the girls' side since last we spoke.
Yes, top takeaways from the holiday tournaments. Pequea Valley was 10-0 and just flying. They lost to Exeter by like 20. They got handled. Apparently Exeter went zone. Pequea Valley didn't make shots. So PV's got an L. Manheim Township was 9-0. Seen them a couple times. They lost to Red Lion in the Township Holiday Tournament final. Township's interesting. They just have athletes. They have a bunch of kids who play soccer and lacrosse and field hockey. And they're pretty good at basketball, but they don't have a lot of basketball kids.
They're going to win a lot of games by playing D because they're very well coached and because they're athletic, but they might struggle to score sometimes.
Oh yeah, they're going to struggle to score. They only scored like 29 in the game that they lost. Well said. Devon Pinkard, really good coach, knows what he's doing, and he tells me now. I've seen him twice, both times. Creating chaos, havoc, that's how we're gonna win. So they lose to Red Lion. Red Lion's no joke. They're undefeated and top 5 team in District 3 here early on. Hottest team in the LL coming out of the break, Ephrata Girls. They've won 6 in a row. They were 0-3, haven't lost since. They play Warwick on Friday night in a Section 2 game. So we'll see if Ephrata can keep a firm grip on first place in Section 2 coming out of the break here Friday night. I'm gonna check them out. 6 wins in a row for the Mounts.
Now, the other thing for Jason is we have 2 small school teams in our area who we think have a chance to play for a long time into March. We're talking about Lancaster Mennonite and Linville. They played each other, and what happened, big guy?
The game was at Avongrove, which of course is where you'd expect
it was. Of course.
The LL does not have any undefeated boys teams, and that's because Linville Hill beat Lancaster Mennonite on a shot with 2 seconds to go by Giovanni Sejus. Linville Hill's still undefeated in the Commonwealth Christian Athletic Conference.
Interesting.
Both teams are defending district champions. Both have moved up. Now Mennonite's in 3A and Linville Hill's in 2A. So it was just a really interesting game on so many levels because it was the best in the CCAC versus the best comparable team in the LL League. Mennonite's up 9 with 4.5 minutes to go, does not score the rest of the game. Linville goes on an 11-0 run to win with the last second shot. Linville inbounds the ball with 49 seconds to go, runs the entire clock, and gets a layup and an and one.
In a tie game?
In a down one.
Oh, down?
Down one. The point guard, Drew Tibbins, passes it into low blocks. Sejus is a great athlete. He catches it in one motion and scores. Then Mennonite has a chance to beat them at the buzzer. Chase Hurst has about a 30-footer, like a wide open front of the rim 30-footer that's off, and then the game ends.
Ooh.
So, I mean, I just think you have to give great teams credit. Linville Hill is 60-3 the last 3 seasons.
They are bringing it.
2 of those losses are in the PIAA semifinals for Berlin Brothers Valley. So they just don't lose, and they've beefed up their schedule a little bit. And this was kind of the game where you said, how would they fit into Section 4? Well, that's how they could contend with the Section 4
fit
teams.
in. Wow. They would definitely fit in. And Mennonite had been undefeated.
They were undefeated. And
beat Chester by 15.
Beat Chester, beat Unionville's down, but they beat Haverford. They beat some bigger schools.
Yes.
And there was no one in their classification that was really hanging with them. I still think they're probably the favorites in 3A in the district.
So. Interesting.
Yeah, that's. I mean, we've got a long way to go, but that's a game that we might refer back to going forward. Okay, what's happening? What's coming up?
Okay,
what do you got?
Interesting things, and I know we're really early in the section race, but that's going to be the headlines now moving forward. Are going to be these section races.
Well, we have a little bit of a sense of where we are.
Yes.
So now in the next week or so, there's probably some games. Yeah.
Some really big games. Section 1 girls, Lebanon saw the Cedars. Saw them beat Cedar Crest. They're good. Correa had 23. She's fabulous. Township and Lebanon are tied in Section 1. They play next Friday at Township. We'll see if they both get to next Friday.
And both of those teams
undefeated.
have 1 loss overall?
Lebanon's lost 2 games.
2,
Yeah, they've lost 2 games. They lost to Perkiomen Valley out of District 1, which is really good. And they lost to Cardinal O'Hara, which is really good.
A close game, though.
Close game. They did okay.
Yep, close game. Section 2, Ephrata out front. Section 3 is crazy. Catholic 2-1, LS 2-1, Mannheim Central 2-1, Northern Lebanon 2-1. There's a 4-way tie in Section 3 right now.
And some of them have played each other already.
That'll get played out Monday. Mannheim Central at LS. So that'll be an interesting game for first place. Section 4, Pequea Valley's 3-0. Lancaster Country Day is 2-0, and they play next week, I believe, Wednesday. So that'll be for first place. That'll be interesting. Let's mention Linville Hill girls. We always seem to, because they're really good, district champs. They took their first loss. They lost that game to State College at the State College Holiday Tournament.
Yeah.
Pretty big. They took one on the chin there. They lost by a bunch. Desi Smucker's at 954 for points, so she'll get 1,000 soon. Janae Patterson at Pequea Valley's at 960, so she's coming up on 1,000. And I'm going to see Linville next week. They play Lancaster County Christian on Tuesday for first place in an East game, and we'll see if Smucker gets 1,000 that night. So a lot going on the girls' side coming out of the break.
Jason, your itinerary forthcoming.
Basically, every good team at the top of the section play each other in the next 10 days.
Oh, okay.
So you have
There you go.
Ephrata plays Warwick, Mannheim Central plays Lampeter Strasburg, Mennonite plays Anvil Cleona, which is a team we haven't talked about, which is 3-0 in the section.
And they have some dude that's scoring like World Be Free or something.
Elijah Slaybach, who is a great free throw shooter and the league's leading scorer, 24 points a game.
Wow.
And Section 1 has sort of a round robin where Penn Manor plays Cedar Crest and Township plays Cedar Crest, and then Township and Penn Manor play each other. So by Monday, the 13th, we'll have a real good read on where Section 1 is.
Nice. Nice.
Not sure where I got the World Be Free reference. You kids,
beautiful.
go ahead and Google.
Google him.
There you go. Okay, this has been the LL Basketball Roundtable, brought to you by Student Transportation of America. For Jason and for Jeff, I'm Mike, and we'll see you next week.